So was it worth paying the IMAX ticket price to watch this new Inhumans show? There's my title card for the episode. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
And I'm Michelle.
And the summer movie season is officially over.
Yeah.
Game over. This is our post-Geekout reaction for the Inhumans 2-episode premiere in IMAX theaters only, because there ain't crap else out to watch this week. Oh my god. Last week, I was like, man, nothing came out last week. I was wrong. I am dying for the variety I had last week of things to review. There is nothing this week to talk about. Last week, at least the Death Note Netflix show came out, and I could catch up on Brigsby Bear, which I had missed, and still isn't in every theater around the country, so I was like, oh, it's still kind of a niche thing. But then aside from that, it was nothing but weird, small indie releases that I hadn't even heard of, and man, I wish I had reviewed one of those weird indie releases this week. Cause yeah, for anybody out there who doesn't know, Marvel has really been, by the way, this freaking guy is adorable. You could buy 2 of these guys for the price of 1 IMAX ticket to watch Inhumans. Far better purchase. Look at him go. Yay!
My name is Yaksha, and I'm the best thing about Inhumans.
You didn't even see this and you nailed it. Yeah, she did not go and see this with me, because I'll be goddamn if I was gonna pay 2 IMAX tickets for this.
Yeah, the movie pass doesn't work for like IMAX special.
That's the thing that's making me extra salty about this, because, by the way, I just realized I'm wearing like the most adorable t-shirt in the world today.
Yeah, we both have cats in our shirts.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay! I don't give a shit. I just caught my reflection here and I was like, I forgot what shirt I was wearing. But yeah, I don't actually pay for movie tickets anymore. I have a thing called Movie Pass where you pay $50 a month and it lets you go and see 1 free movie every single day. So that's why I can go and see all the crappy films I want and I get to feel good that I didn't actually spend money on them. But it doesn't work on IMAX screens, so I actually had to pay money for this thing. And what makes it even worse is that this is coming on TV for free in about 3-4 weeks. Oh my god, is it not worth it? Oh. And here's the thing. For anybody out there who's just tuning into this for like the first time and you have no idea like what the Inhumans are, you just heard about this thing and you're like, alright, I'm gonna check out, see what some people are saying about this. I do a comic book review show on every Wednesday on this channel, and then we do movie reviews on the weekends. And I have mentioned several times in the comic book show I do here, because the Inhumans have been a topic at Marvel for many years now, that they've been trying to hype them up for this. I've been saying, guys, I really like the Inhumans. They're not handling them well in the comics right now. But listen, you go back, you look at some of the old stuff of the Inhumans, it's freaking amazing. They are incredible. So, I'm not gonna come in here and pretend like I'm the biggest fan of the Inhumans out there. I'm not gonna pretend like this hurt me on like a personal level, but it is just me as someone who appreciates what the Inhumans should be, just looking at this like, wow, wasted potential, the TV show. And I'll get into it. For anybody, do you know anything about the Inhumans?
I know about like Miss Marvel and stuff, but...
So you know the new Inhumans?
Yeah, the new ones. I think that's the ones that like most people are familiar with.
Yeah,
so.
Those are the ones that people have created. Like Miss Marvel is the one that most people know, and honestly, most people don't even really know that Miss Marvel is an Inhuman, I think. But the Inhumans, back before they did this thing where like Terrigen Mist started spraying across the world, so anybody with like latent Inhuman DNA in them started getting powers from it. The Inhumans was this race of people that aliens experimented on at the dawn of man and basically caused them to become superhumans, and they discovered these crystals that when they exposed them to like the gas that comes off the crystals, they would then transform and gain special powers. So they, because they were so technologically advanced, they were like, these primitive Earth apes, they're not going to like understand us. They then moved to the moon and to many other different special places, and they had like flying special space cities. But basically, they were always kind of like Game of Thrones in space. Because it was, you had the leader up there and you had the royal family, but then you had the plotting, scheming, mad brother in there who always tried to rise up against them. And they had like very weird political systems in there, but weird like tiers to their political system. Like there was always like backstabbing going on, like different parties joining each other. So yeah, it was in many ways very much like what any good royal family story should be. It's a lot of like plotting and betraying and backstabbing and all this stuff. It just was in space and everyone had superpowers and Jack Kirby designed it all, so it looked really weird and freaky and futuristic. This, oh my gosh. Okay, you have not seen this.
No.
Obviously, you don't even really know anything about it. But we have mentioned on this show several times something that they love to do with properties that exist in big mythical worlds that are super imaginative. And something that they love to do with that stuff that we absolutely hate. Can you imagine, can you just take a guess what I'm talking about? What you think they do with the Inhumans in this show?
They put them on Earth.
Oh my goodness! They pulled a He-Man with this motherfucker. They smurfed their asses. Yes. Okay, so this is 2 episodes of a TV show, alright? And they don't like stop it and show you the credits and then it goes into the next one. Although I will say, this is short. This thing, after the credits were done, it began at like 7:15, maybe somewhere between 7:15 and 7:20 is when this thing actually began. It ended at 8:20. I was like, is this like, this was like an hour and 5 minutes. It's 2 episodes of what's supposed to be an hour-long TV show. How the hell did that happen? Like, an hour-long TV show with commercials at its shortest is 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. That adds up to an hour and 20 minutes. Where's my extra 15 minutes? This thing is half the length of a normal feature-length film and cost me almost twice as much to see. Ugh. This is so, and you can see it for free in a month. This is some bullshit. How dare you, Marvel? For shame. But yes, at the end of what should be episode 1, basically it starts off, it's got the Inhuman royal family in space, and I'll say this, they show way more of their space home than I expected them to. But you've got the royal family, you've got Black Bolt, who's this guy who cannot talk because his voice is so powerful that like even a whisper could destroy a mountain. Like, he's a really cool character in the comics. And also, they recently gave him his own solo series, and it might be the best series this entire year. If you have not checked out the Black Bolt series, get on that. Issue 4, which came out like a month ago, best single issue I've read all year. It's amazing. So for anybody out there wondering, I do like the Inhumans. But then you got his queen, Medusa, who she controls her hair. And then you've got Gorgon, who is the head of their military. And he's a guy with goat legs, and when he stomps the ground, it causes earthquakes. And then you got Karnak, who is like Black Bolt's advisor, and he's a guy who his power is he sees the flaw in everything, and he's like a martial arts master, so he's like, oh, there's a wall in our way? Here. Bam. Wall comes down. Like, very cool guy. Like, he knows like exactly where to hit people. Like, he can just see flaws and everything. And then they've got Crystal, who is Medusa's little sister, and she's like an elemental. She can create like fire, and she's the Avatar, basically. Mm-hmm. And then they, of course, have Lockjaw, the big teleporting bulldog, who's the best thing. Lockjaw's the best. He's amazing. But Black Bolt's brother is this guy called Maximus the Mad. That's not his actual name. It's just Maximus. They just call him the Mad. But his powers is that basically he can manipulate people. Like, if he tells you, oh, you want to do this, like, I would like to do this. Like, basically, so he, of course, is the schemer. He's the guy constantly trying to stab him in the back, constantly trying to create a coup. That's what they are in the comics. Here's what they are in this. A, they're living on the moon. Got that part right. Hooray. Kudos to you. And they do have the big futuristic city, and they show more of it than I was expecting. It doesn't look all that great, but for TV, it's pretty decent. All right, I'm giving you that. Would have been better if I had seen it on TV. When you watch it on a movie screen, you have a certain level of expectations. Yeah. But for TV, it's like, you know, you're showing, it's all right, and you're showing way more of it than I expected you would. But in this, Black Bolt, you know, he's still got the voice, never really uses it, he's silent the whole time. Medusa's got her hair, but man, we have all seen the wig. We've all seen the wig she's wearing. The wig don't look that bad, but I'll get into the hairpiece. It's not that big of a concern for that long, and I'll go into that in a second. But in the comics, Medusa's hair, like, it's as strong as steel. Like, she can, like, use it to create a shield against an explosion. She can, like, punch the snot out of, like, a superpowered individual with it. Like, she can create, like, giant spears and swords with it. Like, it's cool. Here, it's... like, there's a fight scene with her when she takes out 3 guys. And during the fight scene, they were playing an awful cover of Paint It Black. And the moment it started playing, I went, don't let this be what I think it is. Don't. And it's just like, it's this like very whiny cover. Just, I see a red door, and I was like, this is my favorite Rolling Stones song. How dare you? Stop it. Stop what you're doing now.
It's like, why do people insist on like doing whiny remakes?
I know.
It doesn't make it more emotional. It just makes it more annoying.
Yeah,
like...
But there's like 3 guys who come at her with weapons, and she's just like standing there, and like this hair, just it's this horrible CG. They used all their CG on Lockjaw. Lockjaw actually looks good. I gotta give it to him. They didn't give him the tuning fork on his head. He's just a giant bulldog, but he's got like a white mark kind of like in the shape of a V on his head. So like,
close enough.
A for effort. You tried.
I guess they're like, tuning fork on his head, that would look dumb or
this show could have used a little bit more, let's try something dumb. But yeah, it's like, there's one fight scene with her and her hair, and it looks awful. She's just like grabbing a guy and like fling, just hit hand, like, and it's all in slow motion, so it doesn't look cool at all. Like, it sucks. So, okay, so she's not as cool as she is in the comics. Then Karnak, boy, they did my boy Karnak raw in this show. Karnak is the coolest guy. He is very, like, he has, like, no emotion. He is very much like, the world is nothing but facts. Like, if it's better to do this, I will do this. I don't give a shit about anything else. And here, he's almost kind of, like, jokey with everything. Like, he's flirting with a waitress in here. I was like, I've never seen Karnak flirt with anyone ever, because he, like, views, like, human relations as dumb, basically. But he's, like, flirting with a waitress, and he goes, on day 1, I would be infatuated by your looks. Day 2, I would discover that you chew with your mouth open. Halfway through that day, I would want to kill you. And I was like, is this supposed to be, like, charming? Like, what are you going for on this? Like, it's weird. But they don't give him his powers. The power to see flaws and everything, he doesn't have that in this show. Instead, what he has, there's a moment in which all these guys break into his room with guns, which, by the way, the room that he's in, at all times, have these 2 women in hoods, in white hoods, just sitting in a pool staring at each other, and it's never explained what the hell they're doing. It's just weird. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, clearly someone was like, this is gonna look like some weird deep sci-fi stuff. It's like, you have to tell us what the hell they're doing there, otherwise it's just weird background crap.
It's just a sauna.
Yeah, basically. But like, the guys break in and he goes, surrender or die, it's your choice. And he goes, I love choices, which was kind of a funny line. And then it shows him fighting, and then he gets shot in the fight and dies, and then you see him stand over his own body and goes, well, that clearly won't work. And then you see like equations and compasses start lining up everywhere as like the scene is frozen, and he starts like looking around at everyone, and he goes, all right, let's try this again. And he gets back to his starting position, and then he fights differently, and he's able to take the guy out, and it's like, so he no longer has so in this he doesn't have the power to see flaws and everything, he has the power to like basically predict things, but not like see the future, but basically like just add up all the equations. Like basically it's like, well, if this thing happens and this thing happens and this thing happens, like he can see all the probabilities that could lead to something, which is similar to his powers, but
it sounds like something you see out of like Sherlock.
It's basically, it is. Oh my god, you nailed it. It's, if you watch Sherlock, they gave him Sherlock powers, is what they gave him. But I said they did him raw. That doesn't sound that bad. I will tell you what I mean later. But then there's also Gorgon. In this version, yeah, he's still got the goat legs and he still like steps down and like creates earthquakes. His goat legs are the worst. Like, you thought the Medusa wig looked bad? The Gorgon legs are shockingly terrible in this. Like, when he first walks in, you just see the goat legs, and they look kind of crappy. Like, they kind of look like someone's in them. I was like, you're just showing his feet. You could just have, like, someone with, like, big fake legs just going bum, bum, bum. But then you see him, like, standing with the legs the rest of the time, and you realize, I don't know if they tried to make, because, like, a guy with, like, goat legs, the goat legs would go back and then forward a little bit, and then off. You're like, we know what, like, the goat legs look like. It's either he's clearly standing on his tippy toes, and, like, they try to make that part that goes back, like, the back of his foot going in there, or they just have him standing flat-footed on the ground, and they just made, like, big shaggy boots with, like, the little, like, with, like, a little bump going in the background. So it just looks like he has a weird Achilles tendon there in the back that just, like, is a triangle. He's just wearing big shag carpet boots the entire time. It's the worst goddamn looking thing you could imagine in this show. It is easily the worst effect. But then
is it even effect? It sounds like he's just wearing pants.
He's just wearing shaggy pants. But then Maximus, in this one, Maximus has no powers. And what they say is he's just a normal human, and what they say is every Inhuman goes through a period called Terrigenesis, where they're exposed to the mist from the Terrigen crystals, and that's when they gain their powers. However, hey Car, not everyone gains powers. Some people it has a negative effect on, and they lose all Inhuman DNA, and they are turned into normal human beings. And they say that's what happened to Maximus. So, which is interesting, because it's later explained that all the Inhumans who got turned into humans in this world, they now work down in the mines. They're not allowed to live in the big, bright, beautiful city of Atlan. They have to live in the slums and basically work in the mines, which is kind of something from the comics. In the comics, they basically bioengineered a race called the Alpha Primates, which are basically like cavemen-looking guys, and they work all the labor. They're basically slaves, which they have not talked about in the comics in a long time because they kind of realized, oh, we can't really make people root for people who have slaves. So yeah, that hasn't been brought up in the comics in a long time. In fact, very recently, Medusa just said, we're going to change our society, we're going to do this, we're going to have free elections, we're going to do this, we're also releasing the Alpha Primates, and we're doing this thing. I was like, that was the only time they've been mentioned in the last, like, decade, and I think it was just very quickly like, we don't own slaves anymore, it's cool, everybody, let's not draw on this, let's just move on.
Like, if I had that, like, if that was a thing, like, wouldn't they just, like, put the non-powered Inhumans back on Earth with the regular humans?
That's the thing, is that they do mention, like, Maximus wants everyone to go down to Earth. He's tired of living on on the moon, because he's like, we're using up all of our resources, and also, like, we're the advanced race, we should go back down to Earth and claim what's ours. Plus, like, on Earth, the human portion of us wouldn't be slaves to the regular portion. Everyone would be treated absolutely equal. And, spoiler alert, Maximus ends up making a coup and trying to take over and trying to assassinate the rest of the royal family, and so he put himself in charge. And he's making a speech to everyone, to all the citizens of New Atlan, and he's like, we can all live as one, and all the people who have suffered and had to work for us, they can be free. And I was like, he's kind of right. Yeah, man. I know he's supposed to be like, oh, he's supposed to kind of seem like he has a point, so that way he can sway everyone there and rise into power. But I was like, you made him have too good of a point. Because, yeah, man, fuck the royal family. They're treating all the unlucky schmucks who get turned into humans as their slaves who have to work down the mines because they're not the pretty good-looking Inhumans. Like, yeah, fuck them. Man, this show really just failed instantly at establishing who the hero of this thing should be. But it honestly does make me wonder if they're going to give Maximus powers at all, or if it is just he's a human. Because there's one kid in here who they think he's human, and then Maximus figures out he actually does have visions. Like, anytime that Maximus touches him, like skin to skin, like hand on neck or hand on hand, he then has a vision of the future for Maximus, and no one else has figured this out. And I'm just like, have you gone literally days without anyone shaking your hand or like even just grazing against you? This is an overpopulated city you live in. literally no one has come in contact with you? You poor kid. Jeez. So, yeah, that's where it is. That's basically the summation of episode number 1, because at the end of that, Maximus then just pulls a coup, and that was the first big problem with this thing. Yeah, Maximus should pull a coup, he should, you know, try and take over and all that. That should take a fucking while. That should take a couple episodes. You should build up to that thing. Instead, just out of nowhere, soldiers just start popping up in their apartments, just going, "We're here on behalf of King Maximus to take you in." And I was like, what happened? Like, I know that, like, that's the thing that bugs me the most about this. I had to pay to go and see this thing, whereas I could watch it for free in a month. The version that's going to come on TV in a month is 15 minutes longer than what I watched tonight.
Oh, wow.
Why the hell would you do that?
Yeah.
And it keeps me thinking, it really feels like I missed a couple scenes in here. Like, it really feels like there were...
So they're gonna insert the deleted scenes or something?
Basically. Again, it's like, no, I paid, I get more. Not the people at home for free.
It's like when they release a movie and then the DVD is the director's cut, except it's not coming out on DVD, so you get to freeze the extra stuff for free.
Yeah,
so
DVDs don't come out in a month and they're not free. God damn it. Also, sometimes the director's cuts are better. Sometimes the director's cuts are like, oh, this really is what they envisioned and that's actually better. This, again, out of nowhere. Soldiers just pop up in their apartments just like, "We're here to take you in for King Maximus." And I was like, I had to have missed a couple scenes in here. I have to be missing out on something. But when Crystal realizes that they're stealing, that Maximus is pulling a coup, she gets Lockjaw and goes, "Lockjaw, take them all back to where, take them all back to Earth." And the reason she wants to go to Earth is because at the beginning of this thing, one of the members of the royal family, Triton, he went to go and save an Inhuman on Earth. And he ended up dying, so they sent Gorgon down there to investigate. Mm-hmm. So she was like, "Go to Gorgon, take Karnak to Gorgon, take Medusa to Gorgon, take Black Bolt to Gorgon." Lockjaw has the worst sense of directions, because every single one of them gets plopped down in a different location. Like, they're all in the same area, they're all in the same states, but he gets them in totally different locations each time. I was like, Lockjaw, you suck at, like, seriously.
He needs more training.
He does. Oh, poor puppy. But yeah, I was like, seriously, you can't remember? You know where he went. You know, okay, fine, whatever. But that's the other thing. There is another member of the royal family, Triton, who in the comics, he's a fish guy with a big fin on his head, covered in scales. Here, when he takes his hood off to reveal himself at the beginning, the audience laughed. There are 3 moments in here where the audience laughed. One of them was when Triton was revealed. One of them was when Medusa was fighting. And I'll get to the other one in a second. But Triton is just a dude with green paint on his face, and he's got this little tiny like series of bumps on his head. I was like, and like I said, eyes like right at the beginning of this thing. He's only in this for 5 minutes. You couldn't have gotten freaking makeup artists on him for 5 minutes? Like, seriously. I know that makeup artists are very talented people and their time is worth the money, but for a 5-minute sequence, that's half a day's worth of work. And you don't even see anything of him aside from his head because he's covered completely, the rest of him in like gloves and boots and like a whole big tarp. You couldn't have gotten someone in there to make a 5-minute scene of a dude with some scales on his face and a big old fin across his head? This is so lazy on so many levels. And that brings me up to when Maximus is rebelling against them and gaining this coup. After he captures Medusa, he then pulls out an electric razor, and then there's a sequence of her just crying as he shaves her head. Which is a thing that happened in the comics, but it was a very dramatic moment in the comics because it was in a 12-issue series, and it came around issue number 4. In other words, they had some freaking time to build up to it. And also, it happened after the Inhumans had been around for like 40 years. So we had 40 years of seeing Medusa with her hair. It's like, that's her thing. That's her thing that she does. We all know her hair. We all know her power with the hair. And oh my goodness, the hair is gone. Here, literally, we have seen her for like 20 minutes in this show. We saw her do one fight scene with the hair, and then he shaves it all off. And all I could think was, we all made this big old fuss about the wig. The wig is gone. The wig is freaking gone after this point. And so are her powers. Okay. I mentioned they did my boy Karnak wrong. Okay, so in this right now, we've got Black Bolt, who can't use his voice because he destroys everything if he uses his voice. Medusa just lost her powers because she had her head shaved. Karnak, who has the ability in this to see the equations and probabilities and everything, but his power should be that he can see the flaw and everything. So either one of those you can go with. After he arrives on Earth, he then looks around and he's at the top of a cliff and he starts climbing down the cliff, and then he slips on a rock and falls like smack dab on the ground and looks like he's dead. And I was like, I know what's gonna happen. It's now gonna show him standing at the top of the cliffs, looking down at that and going, well, that clearly won't work. I won't go on that rock, I'll go on this rock. Because that's what his powers are that we've established in this show. If you're going with the comics, he wouldn't do that because he would go, that rock is flawed. It will not support me. And in this one, he can see the possibilities of everything that could happen, so he would go, that rock will not work because all these statistics add up to that. No, it doesn't flash back to him at the top of that. He literally fell. Bam! Just smashed his head on a rock down there, the bomb.
So he's dead now? Or?
No. It then like flashes to him waking up, like much later. This is after a couple other scenes. He wakes up and he starts like walking around and he's like, okay, I have to get my bearing. I have to get my bearing. That way is these, that's this. And you see like the little equations popping up again. So he starts walking around. The rest of his scenes in that episode are just him walking around. And then at the end of the episode, he gets back to a point and he looks at it and goes, this is where I fell. And like he's looking at the equations again and goes, what is happening to me? I went, you took his powers away too.
How?
He hit his head.
So that's all it takes for an Inhuman to like lose his powers.
Well, his powers in this, it's brain related. It's
I guess that makes sense.
But it's fucking stupid because it's like, oh my god, okay, took Medusa's powers away, but okay, you did not have the CGI for that. You didn't have a good looking wig. So okay,
I got a question
understand.
though. Like you said in the comics, they shave her head. Like, how did they manage to do that? Because you were mentioning like how powerful her hair is.
She can apparently cut her own hair. It's one of those things where Maximus had to force her to do it.
Oh.
So it's like, okay, again, here it's literally an electric razor with this, and Maximus is trying to be intimidating with her, and it's like, dude, if you had like a whole season leading up to this moment, it might be intimidating. It's literally like we've only seen her for like 5 minutes in this universe. We don't know shit about her. And we saw like a hair sequence and it was stupid. And you immediately go into her crying, no, my hair. And I was like, fuck your hair, lady. I don't give a shit about your hair. My neighbors must think I'm talking about some weird stuff because they can probably hear me right now. Sorry, neighbors. But Karnak, like I said, Medusa, the effects look terrible, and the wig itself looked bad, so I was like, alright, this was your way of realizing you can't do anything with this, so you cheaped out. Karnak's powers is just the power to go, I see. And you took that away. Why? And it made me think the guy who is the showrunner on this is Joe Buck, and he's the same guy who wins the award for having the name that sounds like it should be a porn star name, but isn't. He is the same guy who is the showrunner on Iron Fist, and in an interview he said it's hard doing a show about Iron Fist because he has no powers, and I was like, yeah, he does. The Iron Fist. It's literally his name. Like, he actually said Iron Fist has no powers. It's like, he has a fucking glowing fire fist that explodes when it punches things. And then I was watching this and I was like, took power away, took power away. You just think superpowers are dumb. It hit me. This guy is making a show about an entire race of people who have superpowers, and he kind of made the hero of the show the one guy who, when he was exposed to the mist, turned into a non-powered human, and then he took the powers away from 2 other members of the royal family. Oh my god. Did you so not pick the right guy for this? You picked a guy who hates superpowers to make the show about everyone having superpowers. Holy shit, this is dumb. But I know I'm jumping all over the place on this, but as I mentioned, ding, 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 you got it right. As I said, they take them down to Earth to invest into where Gorgon was, and they forced them all to go there. So now they're all stranded on Earth in separate places. Here's another thing that rarely ever comes up on this show, but it is something else that I hate with a passion. I cannot stand when movies and TV shows do something just to get a vacation.
Oh.
Guess where they go?
Where?
Hawaii.
Oh, of course.
Oh, and it is just nothing but sweeping landscapes and them walking through the city and them going through the jungles and everything. It was like,
So when they went to Earth, when Lockjaw dropped them off at Earth, they didn't go on Hawaii, did they?
They went to Hawaii. That's where he took them.
That's where he dropped them off.
Yes. Yeah. But in different locations in Hawaii, so they're trying to find each other now in Hawaii.
You know what'd be
which
funny
is just an
if-
excuse for them to walk around Hawaii.
You know what'd be funny if they were like on separate islands of Hawaii? It's like, ah, shit, how am I gonna get over there?
I think they're on the same island,
Well, that's dumb.
so it's not even that hard for them.
And Hawaii's like really small,
It's
so it's
really fucking small. So yeah, if you're
like, at least Lilo and Stitch, there was a good excuse for them to be in Hawaii, and it's an animated show, so they had to like do like vacation bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's the other thing. It's like, I'm not saying you can't set something in Hawaii.
No, but
I'm saying when you take a super sci-fi race that lives on the moon, and for no goddamn reason, the entire show is gonna happen in Hawaii. I'm sorry. Why? Why? Holy shit. This, like, Adam Sandler should have just shown up in this
I
thing.
know, I was just thinking that.
Because it's like, oh my god, this is nothing but just an excuse to get vacation. And it's like, the guy who was like the producer on this, the guy who was like trying to make this, he said this was his passion project. He had been trying to do this for so long. And then I realized, you just won a vacation in Hawaii. You motherfucker. You are wrecking something that people enjoy. And it's just so you could get a fucking vacation. Shame on you. I'm getting so angry, I'm getting hiccups. Man, it makes me mad. Because like I said, I like the Inhumans, but it's not like they're that one team that I'm like, that's my special thing. But I know people who it's their special thing, and I'm like, God, you guys, I feel so bad for you. I feel bad you had to see this happen to your guys. It's like, it'd be one thing if they picked them up and put them down in a place that was not the place that you wanted to see them in. But just seeing it happen just so people could get a vacation, it's like, dude, there is nothing quite as infuriating as that. Because, like, this is just your excuse to have home movies. And it's like, don't make... Again, if this was just on TV, my level of anger would be tapped down a little bit. Not entirely, because you're still wrecking the thing that people enjoy just so you could get a vacation, but you're also making people pay for this thing. And that's what infuriates me about this. There's no reason to pay to see this at all. Save all your money on this thing. Because you're just paying these people to go on vacation. That's all it is. So, let's get into the rest of this. Gorgon is there on Earth, and Gorgon meets up with some surfers. Like, just a group of surfers, and he's telling them their story, and it's like, far out, man. Cool. And then it's like, I'm a warrior. I must face him. And it's like, well, man, you should just have him bring the fight to you. So he gets on his little comlink thing that they all have, and he contacts Maximus directly. He goes, yes, well, here's where I am, so come find me. And then it's like, and then he tells the surfers, you should leave. This will get dangerous. And he's like, we're not going anywhere, man. It's our beach. And I was like, this is a race of like royal superpowered people, and it's going to boil down to fighting surfers. That, oh my God. It's one of those things where it's like, imagine, for anybody out there who is still not like quite getting what I'm trying to describe with this, there's going to be a Krypton TV show on Sci-Fi. We all know Superman. We all know Krypton. Imagine if you turned into the Krypton TV show and it was Jor-El, Superman's dad on Earth, hanging out with surfers, and the surfers were going to have to help him fight General Zod. It's like, that's what this is. It is so upsetting to think that that's how much they screwed the pooch on this one.
I feel like the surfers are just like high as fuck and they all think this is an hallucination.
They were looking at a dude with goat legs and they're taking it fairly well. They're taking it fairly well. By the way, Gorgon tries to figure out what happened to Triton after he fell into the water. So I'm pretty sure Triton's gonna be revealed to still be alive because he's a fish man and he fell in the water. So he tries to figure out, so he goes walking into the waves like, I must find where he went. And it becomes very apparent very quickly he can't swim. And that's, the surfers had to rescue him. And you just see this dude with goat legs. But again, it's not goat legs. You just see a dude wearing really shaggy boots just at the bottom of the water. I was like, that's a good point to bring into the third big problem with this show. One of the reasons why it's so upsetting when you see people in really cool sci-fi and fantasy settings getting picked up and dropped into the real world is because of this exact thing. When those people are in those big sci-fi worlds, in those big fantasy worlds, they're the kings, they're the queens, they are badass warriors. But when you pick them up and bring them into our world, it turns into nothing but, oh, what is this? What is this thing? What is this magic box? Why are there tiny
shenanigans?
Why are there tiny people inside this tiny box? Hello, people in tiny box. I will free you. That's what this is. I was just thinking, like, man, you got like this royal family up there. You could do all this cool shit with them. And Medusa had to find a way into the city because she wound up in the wilderness. And she sees a tour bus, and you see her walking up to it, and she's like, where does this go? And they go back to the city. And like, and they're like, all right, everybody onto the bus. And she's like, nothing destroys your image of your heroes quicker than them being horrified of public transportation. And Gorgon
although to be fair, public transportation is pretty scary.
Yeah, it's in Hawaii. It's not that bad. It's a tour bus. They're fine. It's not like they're on the subway. And like Black Bolt is walking around, and he's just by himself because Lockjaw has to go back up to Avalon, and Lockjaw gets like put into like some magic-induced sleep. So again, your best special effect is taken out right there. They just got rid of all the special effects in this show, like right off the bat.
It's like, oh, we need to like spend all this money, but it'll be too expensive.
They didn't want to spend any money. They didn't want to spend any money at all in this thing. They just wanted to get paid to go on vacation. Again, I have to keep coming back to that. But the dude who plays Black Bolt, he's walking through the city, and he realizes he has to get some normal clothes, but Black Bolt obviously can't talk, so he just goes into this clothing store, and they're like, oh, you don't speak English? That's fine. Let me show you something. And like, he gets dressed up in a nice suit, and then he just walks out of the store, and he like assaults the guard when he tries to stop him. So then he has to fight the cops in here. And when the cops take him to the precinct, there is actually a pretty good exchange between Black Bolt and the cops, in which they're just like, there's no prints on him, he refuses to say anything, are you waiting for your lawyer? And it's like, yeah, he doesn't, but he seemed to be fine getting put into the cuffs, and then he just goes, takes his cuffs off, puts them down, and then everybody like points their guns at him, and like he's just sitting like, I will say this is one thing I have to give this show. The dude who plays Black Bolt does some of the best eyebrow acting I've seen all year. Like his little like it's almost like they told him do something that can get turned into a GIF. Because like every single thing he does in here, like once he hits Earth with his eyebrows, I'm like, that's a reaction GIF. That's the kind of thing that someone is going to now like just take a clip of that and just post it as reactions to blog posts on Tumblr. So he does a decent job with his face, but again, I can't really like judge his voice because he doesn't actually talk in here. Which he does sign language, which I found that to be kind of cool because in the comics, like he doesn't ever do anything. Medusa just has like a telepathic link with him, and she just goes, "The king has said this," but here he's actually like doing sign language. By the way, I realized that was not sign language. Sorry, you guys know what sign language looks like. I shouldn't have had to do anything there. So that's actually kind of a cool thing that they add on there. I like that he's actually doing sign language, and actually made me really kind of mad that they didn't actually get like, I don't know the actual term for it, but mute, is that the actual correct term? But someone who can't talk.
Yeah, that's
like,
mute.
I'm sure there's a lot of actors out there who can't talk, and it's like, this is like the one role actually made for you. Because you know he's gonna say like one word in this whole show. when he actually, like, says a word and blows something up. You could have gotten someone to dub that in there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so it's like, man, this was like the one role, this is like the one time that a guy who can't talk could have been a superhero. So it's kind of upsetting to me that they didn't cast someone like that, because you know there's actors out there who can't talk and they want to get a role like this. But yeah, he's actually doing some pretty good, like, facial expressions in here. I gotta give him some credit for that. But yeah, man, that's pretty much the only positive I have in here, because nobody else in here is really good at all. Like, Gorgon is like a surfer bro dude, like, so he kind of fits in, because he is totally a dude bro. Like, but his personality changes constantly throughout this thing. Because there's someone who's like, I am the head of the Atlan military, I will crush our enemies. But then there's like a moment who's like, that's so awesome. That girl got flying powers. Flying powers are so awesome, bro. Like, that's an actual line. That's an actual line in this thing. I added the bro in there, but the rest of it's him.
I don't know, I've been in the military and there are definitely some dude bros in there.
Okay,
so.
fair enough. Fair enough. You know what, you got me. But then Karnak is just weird. I don't know what they're going with for him in there, but he's not nearly as cool as he is in the comics. Medusa tries really hard to be really extreme, really like, I am the queen of Atlan and you will not touch me like that. How dare you? I was like, yeah, but it just doesn't work. And part of it doesn't work because of the wig, and the other part of it doesn't work because of her outfit. Like, everybody is focusing on the wig. She's wearing like this purple gown throughout the whole thing. It looks like she went into a fabric store, just grabbed a long string of purple fabric, wrapped it around her, and then like put a safety pin in there to like keep it shut. It's like, it looks terrible. It looks like one of the cheapest outfits I've seen on any TV show ever. It looks horrendous. And I don't even care about people's clothes, but you're looking at this like, no way would anyone with like royal connections wear something this cheap looking. It's the cheapest outfit in the whole thing, and it's supposed to be like this gorgeous gown. But there's a moment in which Maximus sends someone down to Earth to go hunting after her, and they get into a flat-out slugfest fight. And this is the same guy who was the showrunner on Iron Fist. I know that the bad fight scenes on Iron Fist come down more to the directors and not the showrunners, but here, it's still really bad fight scenes, but in Iron Fist, there'd be cut, because like people couldn't actually fight.
Yeah.
In here, everything is in super slow motion in fight scenes, and it's very clear they didn't just slow it down. The actors are moving slowly too, because they had to like go, okay, I'm going to do this. But then they make it extra slow to seem like it's being done on purpose, and like, no man, this ain't real. I know that it's so clear that they're moving in slow motion, like the actors themselves, so it looks even cheaper. I know I'm like just picking stuff now to talk about, but like I've gone through the majority of what happens in the show. Just there's so many other things that pop up in this that are just really frustrating. And again, not so much even speaking as an Inhuman fan. I have to imagine the Inhuman fans gotta be even more ticked at this thing. But just as a TV show, this is not that good. However, I will say towards the end of the second episode, when you start seeing where everyone is moving towards, like Black Bolt gets put in prison, and now like Medusa had to fight this person. Although after she fights her, she then takes her little communicator bracelet, and then there's a post-credit scene where she then wakes up and reveals that she can heal herself, and she heals back like the wound that Medusa gave her, and then she talks into her communicator thing, call Maximus, we need backup. And I was just like, she took your communicator. Did you have two? Or did she take it, talk to Black Bolt, and then decide to put it back on your arm after she thought she killed you? That seems like it was dumb. Yeah, it's literally one of those things where like, I'm sorry, did you literally just have like, did you forget that you took it off her 2 seconds ago? This is insane. Oh my goodness. I don't know how many other things there are to complain about here, but I will say towards the end of the second episode, towards the end of it, it is like, alright, everybody's kind of getting into interesting spots. It's only 8 episodes long, so I know it's not really going to drag. It is going to keep moving along. So it does make me intrigued, and honestly, I feel like if this was another Netflix show and it was able to be streamed, Not streamed. Everything's streamed now. Binge watched. I feel like if I could binge watch all of this at once, I'd be way more positive on it. I feel like I would be more like, you know what? I'm intrigued enough to watch the next episode. Because after this was over with, after the second episode was over with, I was like, you know what? If a third episode started now, I'd be okay with it. Partly just because this didn't fill me up. Like I said, it's an hour and like 10 minutes is what they showed me. That is not enough to like get me like, oh yeah, cool, awesome, what happens? Like, but it was enough to make me go, all right, well, where's the rest of this story? What's happening now? So it got me intrigued. And I am interested in seeing like, okay, how are you gonna get back to the moon? I figured Lockjaw's gonna finally wake up. Although they did bring in here one Inhuman from the comics who I think is a fairly new one, but basically he's an Inhuman who when he got exposed to terrorists, he turned into just a giant wall. And he has the ability to teleport people by them walking into his mouth. It's really weird. Like, the Inhumans do really creative stuff. And in here, they have him, but instead of just being this giant, like, Jack Kirby-looking wall with a face on it, it's just a blank wall, and they go up to him, and they try and summon him, and then his face comes out like, And then you go, I need you to send me this place. And he just goes, no, I don't want to. And I was like, I kind of like this guy. I gotta admit, kind of like this guy. Him and Lockjaw, saving graces of this show. So yeah, the best thing I can say about this is A, the dude who plays Black Bolt doing some cool stuff with his face. But also, yeah, by the end of this, I was like, alright, I'm not hooked.
But mildly intrigued.
I'm intrigued enough to binge watch it. But the sad thing is, it's coming on ABC. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has apparently gotten really good, but I haven't even caught up on that simply because I'm like, man, I don't want to sit down every single week at the same time and watch this thing. Like, I've been spoiled by Netflix. Like, I really just don't care to sit down and watch something that comes on every single week. Like, I'm not even fully caught up on Rick and Morty, which is an amazing show just simply because it's like, I gotta be at a place for a time to do a thing? Oh, man, come on. What is this, the Dark Ages? Do I have to get up and turn a knob on my TV to change it now? Oh, I forgot. I said that there was a third part where people laughed in this thing. As I said, we do not see Black Bolt use his voice in here. Except for one moment where he gets, like, tasered by a cop, and he just goes, and then, like, that little, like, causes a car to explode. Would you've seen that in the trailers? It looks better in the show. That's one thing I will say. Everything from the trailers looks better in the show. I will give it that. But there is a moment in which Maximus, he is trying to rise up. He's in the middle of his coup, and he goes up to his brother and goes, "What will you do now, brother?" Which that's how he talks. He's awful. I'm sorry. He's not good. It's another Game of Thrones actor, and all I can think is there another Game of Thrones actor who's naturally British, and he doesn't know how to do an American accent? Because that's one of the things that's kind of screwed over Iron Fist. But he has this very like shaky voice all throughout. Just, we must rise up in order to take our rightful place on the earth. I was like, thanks, Mandark. But there was a moment he goes, "Will you use your voice to kill me like you killed our parents?" And then it flashes back, and it's in slow motion, and it's like teenage Black Bolt just sitting there on the couch with his two parents standing in front of him, and the camera pans around so that like all you see at the back of his parents is like this. By the way, when the hell did this crack in this wall?
I don't know.
I've never seen that until now. Holy cow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we got ghosts here, folks. Seriously, when did that happen?
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to check our old episodes to see if it was always there. But it turns around so you only see like that much in the back of their face. Tiny little teenage Black Bolt is there, and it's in slow motion, and just goes, "Wah," and then bam, sonic things, and like the face gets rushed off the side, and you just hear a like it is a cartoon squish sound effect. And the audience burst out laughing. Well, not burst, but they were like, ah, like trying to hide it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what am I watching right now? That should be a horrifying, traumatic moment. And it was hilarious. And one of the reasons it was hilarious is because it's all in slow motion, But when they get jerked off frame by his voice, it's at regular speed. So it was, it was like, all right, slow motion, what the fudge? Like, it is gonna be the moment that even if you refuse to watch this on TV, if you refuse to watch it on Netflix or wherever it ends up popping up, that is going to be a GIF and a short clip on YouTube everywhere. Like when people want to go, this is what Inhumans is. What?
It just seems like he only speaks in slow motion.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god. Because it seems like, yeah, the rest of us were at regular speed. Why are you acting like that, kid? It should have been the most dramatic moment of this whole thing, and it was hilariously stupid. Oh my god. Oh, yeah, the slow-mo in here is one of the worst things about this show. It's just overused, and it's clearly used to, because they don't know what else to do with the scene.
It's like, we need to stretch this out. They need to stretch it out.
They need to stretch it out. They need to make it seem extra dramatic. They need to reveal that nobody in here knows how to fight. It's wow, man. Whoo! It really is. I honestly feel like when this comes on TV, get some of your buddies around, get some drinks, and just MST3K the crap out of this thing. It is made for an MST3K, and oh my god, I cannot wait to see the riff tracks that are gonna be made about this thing. It's gonna be perfect.
I was thinking maybe we should live stream it and do
might not be a bad idea.
And just laugh along with how stupid it is.
It might be a good idea to do that. I have honestly people have actually suggested to me that I do view along things where I just release audio to me watching something.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people out there are doing that. I don't know if that would be something that anybody would be interested in. But yeah, man. This really was, you know me, I root for stuff. I don't want to see anything fail. I want to support everything out there because I want everybody to succeed and everything to be perfect and everybody to have that special happy thing that they enjoy. But it was just something about the fact that I realized this was made solely to be a vacation that made me go, all right, you know what? I'm done being nice. I'm judging you for what you are, and you ain't good. And again, just talking on behalf of how cool the Inhumans are in the show, it shows at the end of this thing a clip of things to come, and you see Medusa hanging halfway out of a car firing a gun, and I was like, aren't you the fucking queen who has the magic swords for hair? Why am I God damn it. And you see Black Bolt escaping from prison with another prisoner in there. I was like, oh my god. And it'd be one of those things where I could look at this and be like, even in Iron Fist, one of the things that got me through Iron Fist was going, okay, but how is this connecting to other stuff? How is this linking up to other stuff? Kevin Feige, the head at Marvel, came out and said, the Inhumans show will not be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh boy.
Do you know how bad you have to be? How bad you have to be for them to go, we ain't part of this.
Got nothing to do with this.
This man does not represent us.
Nope.
Ooh, which, here's the thing. They keep mentioning Inhumans on Earth being transformed because of a contamination in the water supply, which is what's happening on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it makes me wonder, so is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. not connected? Because I know the Netflix shows never once reference anything from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So they're still part of the MCU. So Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, they're all still part of that. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., is that part of it? Because in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they're constantly bringing up the Avengers and all the stuff happening in the different movies. So you kind of have to have them connected, and I really hope that they're connected, because they had Ghost Rider in there last season, and they finally fucking got Ghost Rider right. They're the first people to finally do that. I don't want to lose Ghost Rider because this show is a fucking piece of crap. I don't want to lose Ghost Rider just because you had to take a vacation and you destroyed someone else's possible good franchise for that. So yeah, those are my questions. I honestly think I complained about this show longer than what I watched tonight. I watched like an hour and 10 minutes. We're probably going close to that right now. So thank you guys for tuning in. I think at the beginning of this episode, I had everything kind of like streamlined and contained, and then at the end, around the halfway point, I just lost my fucking mind. So I apologize for that. Next week, we're back to actually reviewing movies, like real movies that come out in theaters.
Wow.
Yeah, because Stephen King's It finally comes out. Mm-hmm. Man, I never thought I would look at Stephen King's It like the saving grace of cinema. But after 2 weeks of fucking nothing, I kind of need a big release. So yeah, make sure you come back for that and let us know in the comments down below what you thought of Inhumans. Make sure to come back after this show actually premieres and rewatch this episode, because that'll be fun. So yeah, okay, that was that. But thank you guys for tuning in, and come back next time. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. This guy is freaking adorable.